This is the Kpopcast, and in this episode, we'll talk about Suga's Enlistment, why you should apologize to Lisa, Baekhyun's new company, and the controversy going along with it. We also talk quite a bit about why K-pop is obsessed with luxury brands, or rather the other way around, why luxury brands are obsessed with K-pop idols. And the question I know that was keeping you all up at night, did Boys Planet, or did the Planet of the Boys finally find the BLIT? BLIT being the name of the group.
I hate it every time you say it.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
It just makes me cringe.
It makes me laugh so hard.
It's their happy place.
I want more Instagram lives from Baekhyun where he's not apologizing.
Ugh,
Oh, I kind of like it where, you know, like you have your idol just kind of going on a casual Instagram live, and then they just like mention one thing in passing, and they're like, you know, stock prices like are disrupted, like you know, the balance of power between like K-pop agencies and labels changes, and it becomes its own like news cycle. I don't know. I think that's kind of fun. It keeps everyone.
Yeah,
on their
but you
toes.
sprinkle that in alongside the Instagram lives where, you know, you're doing yoga in the morning.
Okay.
Before we get into all of those topics, guys, don't forget to join the Kpopcast listener fam on Slack. Link to the space in the episode description. And now, on for our hit replays.
Hi, everyone. It's Teresa. I'm the co-host of It's a K-Pop Thing, the podcast where we talk about all the things that make K-pop distinctly K-pop.
Welcome, Teresa.
And I'm Virginia, also known as the Mandarin Mama. I'm the entertainment editor for Mochi Magazine, which is the longest running Asian American women's magazine online.
Wait. I had to interrupt. How many years now, Virginia?
I don't fucking know.
Okay. I'm DJ Peter Lowe.
And I'm your PDN Michaela, and hit replays are what we call K-pop songs you should totally check out. So, Teresa, you're kicking us off. What is your hit replay for this week?
Yes, my hit replay for this week comes from the indie Korean rock band The Rose. Their single Back to Me is from their second full mini album, Duel. I really, really like this song just because I feel like it's a return to the original The Rose sound. I feel like post-pandemic, they kind of, you know, we're kind of in their feels a lot like we all were, but I feel like this song really comes back with a lot of energy and is just like feel good, and I'm here for it.
I could make a world out of broken dreams. I could make you say things you don't mean. I can all make all we were made to be, but I can't make you come back to me. But I can't make you come back to me.
So if you don't know who The Rose are, I highly, highly suggest that you check them out. It's a 4-member band featuring Usong, aka Sammy for fans, on vocals. It has Jojun on the keyboard, Jaehyung on the bass, and Hajun on drums. They debuted in 2017 with this single, Sorry, that just really catapulted them into the indie rock sort of scene. And I know that they're not K-pop, and they themselves have said that they're not K-pop. You know, you're not going to see them dancing, doing any sort of crazy choreo. But if we're, you know, using HALLYU as a sort of umbrella term for Korean entertainment and music, they fall under that. And I really, really love The Rose just because they have a sort of, I don't want to say grittiness, but they're very emotive with all of their music. Like Usong is a great, great vocalist. I really love his solo stuff. He won me over when he first came out with Face a few years ago. And ever since then, he's, you know, continued just delivering really, really solid tracks. I'm really excited to see that they've been touring, they've been building up their fan base, and Back to Me is a great, great track to rediscover them or discover them for the first time if you haven't checked them out yet.
Really? Not K-pop? I would have, I don't know. Maybe
They're more like K-rock, though, yeah?
well,
I would
Korean
say that they're
indie,
more
right?
K-rock.
Yeah.
Like have that indie feel.
K-rock.
They're very much like the indie. I think that's part of the reason why I like them, because I like, for context, like a few weeks ago, I think I went down a playlist like rabbit hole where it started with like The Strokes, and then, you know, I was like listening to Jet and it's like just transported me back in time to that era where we had all of those garage rock bands that were really, really prominent here in the US. And I feel like The Rose kind of harks back to that sort of music where it's like, okay, you have a band, you have guys who can sing, play instruments, and they have just a lot of fun, you know? So because of that, I feel like they're not really, I don't consider that, I don't put them under the K-pop scene, even though they have collaborated with Suga from BTS. So Usong was on Suga's latest album, and that was a great collab also, which I highly recommend.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, at least K-pop fans here in the San Francisco Bay Area, I see all the people in the K-pop Bay Area Facebook group I manage, and like K-pop circles talking about The Rose. So I was like, in terms of audience, it seems to overlap. Like I see a lot of armies talking about The Rose, and like if The Rose isn't K-pop, then does that mean Rolling Quartz isn't K-pop? Like FT Island isn't K-pop? Day 6, like where do we?
I guess it's how they identify, right?
Okay, and they choose to identify themselves as like Korean indie, I guess, right?
I don't know actually if I've heard them say that they're like an indie band. I think in my mind, like indie, as much as it is like a genre in my head, like I would put them under that. I think they just consider themselves like a rock band, but I think they distance themselves from K-pop because they know that they're not going to be doing a complicated dance number on Music Bank anytime soon.
No.
And plus, K-pop is like a whole thing, right? It's like,
Yeah.
It's not that The Rose doesn't have visuals, because HALLYU is a snack. But like K-pop is like a combination of like the image, the idol makeup, the dancing, the like concepts, the like there's usually rap, and then like this. Like the smashing of all these genres together, right? Like, so I feel like K-pop has a very specific
Manufactured production.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Peter trying to stir some stuff up with that, right?
Well, I'm wondering, like, but with these rock bands, are they not also manufacturing their own like brand and image?
I mean, every group has A&R,
Yeah.
So
And
to that extent, yes. But I think that, there was an interview recently where Usong, the lead vocalist for The Rose, basically talked about how they as a group have thought about like disbanding in the past, and how he thinks that like if it wasn't for the fact that they are releasing music that they all feel very, very passionate about, they probably would have disbanded a while back.
Because they have more control, creative control.
Exactly. So they're very much in that indie scene where it's like they're doing everything. And I see it because like they're touring all the time. Really trying to build up their fan base. And I'm excited because now they have another tour coming up, and they're going to be here at the Forum in LA later this year. And I know that that's a huge step up. From where they started. I think the Forum holds about 15 to 17,000. So if they can sell that out, that's a huge uptick in terms of ticket sales from, I saw them in 2019 at, I think like the Fonda Theater, which is, just a few thousand, if that.
They're at the Bill Graham Civic.
Yeah, I was about to bring that up. 4th. Yeah. Which is also a big venue. I was just trying to Google the
it's about
seat
700? 7,000.
7,000. I was like, I was going to say more. Yeah.
Also, what I will say that I didn't mention about Back to Me as my hit replay is that it's all in English.
Yeah, I was going to say that because it was so interesting hearing a Rose song in English. I don't know if they actually have many songs that are all in English.
No, they don't. I think I am not 100% certain if this is their first all English track, but it is the first that comes to mind. Usong definitely has released songs in English before because he's Korean American. But to hear Dojun singing in English was a really, really big, fun surprise for me on this.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Up next, Virginia.
All right, so I'm a little bit late, but to be fair, I have a baby, so I don't always listen to music when it comes out. But my hit replay song is Insomnia by SHINee. So it's the 9th track on SHINee's latest album, Hard, which is also a fantastic song. It's a great album. It's a smooth R&B track with guitar and piano riffs, and it's discussing the insomnia brought on by loneliness and missing an ex after breaking up. A little bit about SHINee. They've been dubbed the princes of K-pop. SHINee is a South Korean boy band started by SM Entertainment in 2008, and they're considered second generation, and they're famous for hits like Replay, Ring Ding Dong, and Lucifer. And now that I've said that, I have Ring Ding Dong stuck in my head. The reason why I chose Insomnia is first of all, it's just so smooth and chill, and I feel like that's the way R&B is supposed to sound. And honestly, I just like the vibe, and that's my reasoning.
Love it. Need no excuse to bring a SHINee song onto this show. I love it. I specifically go back to the 1 minute 30-second mark just to hear Minho's falsetto when he's singing Midnight Feelings, because it's a range we've never really heard from him before, and it just sounds so like I just want to fall into his arms, because his voice is just so comforting and beautiful. I love it.
Also because his arms are really strong.
That's it.
I like that there's like a little bit of like, I mean, I'm sure it's like written out and scripted, but it feels like some of the instrumentals are improvised. Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's not, you know, for you know, pop, you know, music production. It's a bit more free form and open.
It's like lounge music, but not in a bad way.
Yeah. Look, hey, don't knock on lounge music.
No,
I love lounge
I was
music.
about to say, what's the bad way?
Because there's like lounge music where you're just like, all right, clearly these people are like phoning it in. Their has-beens, their career, their best days have been like, you know, like an airport lounge or like, you know what I mean? But then there's like lounge music where people go and you're like, yeah, this is where the cool people are.
Got it.
And people say things like cool cat. And you're like, okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Where people would say cats, like, you know, referring to distinguished individuals. Got
yes.
it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I see it. Okay. I'll go next on my hit replay. So
yeah, Peter, what song you hit replay on this week?
I chose to go with Hoppa, Barbie, Gaijin, Queen Princess, Jen Somi, and her song, Fast Forward.
How many lovers do I go through to find you? How many? Fast forward.
Okay, so y'all, Jen Somi's like career and history is like worth noting. Like I feel like most people forget. Like, I'm also kind of weirded out that she was only born in 2001. But,
What?
Yeah.
Wait, is that what?
No,
I did not know that.
Yeah. She's a young kiddo, but we're all getting older, and they're only getting younger. in
She's
K-pop.
an adult now, though, guys. Come
Yeah,
on.
no, she's an adult now. But
She has the same birthday as Suga.
March 9th.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So she's appeared in like a number of like different miscellaneous TV appearances, like beginning in like 4th grade or whatever. But where I first got to know her was on the JYP reality show 16. That Jun Sumi was winning in that reality show competition. You know, she was making it to the final rounds, and then she was eliminated. And JYP went on to form this group called Twice.
Might have heard of them.
From all the members, even though Jun Sumi was like, you know, basically winning, and they brought Momo back, even though Momo was eliminated. Whatever. Okay. No hate on Momo.
Not
I'm
over
happy
it
for
yet,
Momo,
Peter.
but I'm just saying,
soon?
like,
Too soon?
Jun Sumi was robbed of her position. But anyway, she made it up because she moved on to IOI, the first season of IOI, and she won. She was crowned queen of IOI on that. With other, I like, you can track the career of like that first season of all the female idols of that season, including Chungha.
Sejong.
Yeah.
And many
And
more.
others. Yep, many others. Anyway, so she was with YG for a number of years, and then she left. Well, after IOI, like, basically she was kept in a dungeon, and then she did like one-off like collaborations with people like Eric Nam and others. And then she signed with a Black Label. And then Black Label was, she was like one of the first artists, if not the first, to sign with that new group from YG. And she debuted with Birthday, which was a really good bop and hit. And now she's still there, and I think she's actually doing pretty well. So that's Jun Sumi.
Living her life as a natural blonde.
A natural blonde? What?
Just because she's been blonde for so long.
Yeah. I actually, yeah. Can we just talk about that really fast? Like,
Her hair?
well, yeah, her hair, but how can I say this in a polite way? Like, she is so high maintenance and dolled up, but I really appreciate it. Like, you know, I look at her looks and it seems pretty high maintenance, but at the same time, like, she always kills her looks.
She embraces her inner Barbie.
Exactly. And so that was fun. I don't know if those of you who might have already seen or don't know, she interviewed Margot, what is
Robbie?
the actor? Yeah, Margot Robbie for the Barbie movie, and she on that interview she took out her Barbie collection to show on camera. I mean, that's the type of girl she is, I guess.
Yeah.
But like, I'm not knocking it. Like, I'm just saying she does like the high fashion, high production look really well. Like, just every look she does, she really pulls off. She makes the dresses look good. Sorry, Teresa, were you saying something?
No, I was just going to say I saw that clip of, I think it was like a TikTok or something, where I guess somebody in Korea was like driving and then saw her in like her Hummer or something, like, I don't know. It was like a very flashy car, and she was just like vibing. Did anybody else see that clip?
No, but now you want to make me go look it up.
And in my mind, it's like a pink car, but I don't think that it was. Maybe I'm just imagining it. I don't know. Maybe it's the Mandela effect. Like I think it exists.
It's the
but it doesn't
Sony
exist.
effect. Like even in this, right, Peter? It's like it's kind of cyberpunk vibes, but it's like the pretty pink version, right? Is that what you said?
Oh yeah. So moving on to the song. Yeah, what are we talking about again? We're talking about her song "Fast Forward." I think it's worth noting, like, if you look at all of her music videos under the Black Label, like they really pulled out all the stops. They really spent all the money, and I can see why. Oh my God, why am I forgetting her name? R&B soul singer from the Black Label, YG, who left. Anyway. They weren't getting the attention, but Jun Sumi is getting all the money, I think, at YG right now in terms of like production value. I don't know if it's commercially viable. Anyway, they
Lehigh. We think about Lehigh.
Oh yeah, Lehigh. That's who
go.
I was thinking of. Yeah, Lehigh. With this music video, like, you could tell they were trying to go for a bit of a cyberpunk vibe, even though it was like pretty clean, like, you know, high tech, low life. and they've got like, you know, anti-establishment rebellion banners and signs in the background to, I think, try to convey that. But it's all pink, you know, it's like Blackpink pink version of cyberpunk.
I mean, the revolution comes in all shapes and sizes.
Yeah. So the song is a hit replay because like I think if it hasn't come out already, I'm kind of biased toward Jun Somi. And she hits a particular type of bias I've got in terms of this is a little weird to say as like a straight man, but like she hits this like this niche of like female idols whose fan base is like largely gay men.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like yeah, that sound and style I just love.
Like even shout out to Joe in our Slack. He noted that her backup dancers in the music video are actually dancers that are really big in like the ballroom scene. And I specifically recognized 3 members of this dance group called Otte. You guys might have seen them from Street Man Fighter 1. They're notoriously this group that is again very much bringing the queer femme vibe to all of the choreography they're involved with.
That's awesome.
Oh, now I really have to look up the backup dances. I was going to bring up the backup dances just as a point of, like, look who the audience is, right? Mm-hmm. It's like all these, like, presumably get like gay Asian men, like that are just target audience for this, and they're kind of reflected in the backup dancers. So, yeah. You know, my K-pop journey started with Boa in 2008. Junghwa, Tiffany, Sunmi, Chungha, and today we're
so there's a pattern.
Sunmi.
There's a pattern there.
Yeah. Oh, there's tectonic dancing in this. Do you guys know what tectonic or tectonique?
No. What is that?
No, what is that?
It's like this, like in 2007, 2008, thereabouts. There was this subgenre of electro dancing that was like really popular in like the suburbs of Paris, where like you're kind of on your heels, like the heels of your feet, and you're like raising the balls of your feet up, and then you're pulsing your arms and your knees out, and doing these sort of like Vogue like movements with your arms to electro music. So it's gone in and out. I even remember around that time in 2007, 2008, there were a few other K-pop idols who were also into tectonic, but they were, you know, not the main idols that you'd probably hear about. So it comes back. It makes a reappearance in this music video. It's a big part of the choreography here, and it goes with this genre of electro house music.
Cool. I can't wait to go check that out when I rewatch the music video. Cause again,
what is also rewatching is her 6-pack.
Oh, dang.
Like defined abs. Like I'm telling you guys, like she's really good looking, if I can say so myself. Like she just pulls off every look.
It's like she should be famous.
Yeah, right. As if. Yeah. So I can't tell you what the song is actually about, but it's a good song, and it's my vibe.
Nice.
So that's my hit replay.
Nice.
Yeah, no, the last thing I'll note about Somi before we move on to my hit replay, which is, you know, the best hit replay of the week, obviously.
It's really good.
Is that there was recently reports that they got into a bit of controversy. The Black label had to apologize because there is this animated character that appears in the music video that has a very similar resemblance to a very iconic manga.
It's not similar. It's like traced. It's like copied. Let's not beat around the bush. It is like pixel for pixel, like an identical copy.
Yeah. So Rumiko Takahashi's Uruse Yatsura. That character specifically is being noted that it's like they basically just, again, like you said, traced over, made it more like.
Well, they traced bubbly. It, and then what did they do? They did the horizontal flip. So instead of like looking to the right, she was looking to the left. Yeah. Sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So the Black label apologized, and they said that they're going to make efforts to remove that section of the music video and replace it. So maybe by the time you hear this, it might not even be there. So who knows? Because, you know, backroom deals with YouTube to keep all of the views on that video.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the first time that YG has had to remove offensive content. in their music videos.
Blackpink, we're looking at you.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to edit this so you don't get in trouble.
No, it's
No,
good.
it's
Love
okay.
it.
Yeah, we're already in trouble with all the fandoms. We're good. Okay,
Well,
PDM.
Yeah,
yours.
wrapping up before we get into any more hot water. My hit replay this week is Infinite's OT6 comeback after 5 years, guys. Well, almost 5 years, like 4.5. Anyway, it felt like a decade. They're back with their new song, New Emotions.
You make me lose my mind. Keep your going. Brand new emotions. Dance with me. 붕 떠지. Can't come down. Brand new emotions. You got me lose my mind. Destiny override. You got me lose my mind. All day. 널 생각하는 맘. Brand new emotions.
Yeah, so Infinite, if you guys don't know, especially you new fans, they debuted back in 2010 under Woollim Entertainment. The group is composed currently of 6 members: Sungkyun, Dongwoon, Woohyun, Sungyul, L, and Sungjong. They were originally 7 members when they debuted back in 2010. The member Hoya, who was, my bias, which is really sad times, and he left the group in 2017. And they actually all left Woollim recently and are now under Infinite Company, their own label. So they pulled a GOT7, and luckily were able to keep their name identity and are now coming back in this new era of Infinite. Notably, like they were definitely one of those groups that built Woollim back in the day. Like the only groups that they really had were like indie bands like Nell and Epic High. And so when Epic High left back in 2008 to kind of like form their own sub label under Woollim, it was notably that like this was the group that was gonna make or break the company, and they were very successful. They are mostly known for like their kargunmu, which is like their knife dancing. Have you guys ever heard of that before? Yeah, it's basically like, again, back in like the early tens of K-pop, like the second gen K-pop, they were the first few groups where there was like more than 5 people in a group. So it was the first time you were really seeing like these large groups of people doing these really synchronized choreography, and it looked really cool. And they kind of came up being like this small group from this small label that were so in sync and so precise with their movements that they looked like they were like cutting the air, and like had with their hands specifically. Like they have a lot of those like open palm, like I don't know, jabs. Like you see that a lot specifically in like the Be Mine and the Chaser choreographies, which are like their 2 like hit songs. But this song, New Emotions, is the title track of their This song is the title track of their 7th mini album, Begin. It's actually stylized as 13EGIN, so because it's 13 years of Infinite. Yeah, and it's, like I said, their first project after leaving Woollim and creating their own company, and so it's this really exciting time of getting to hear what their sound is on their own, which this song specifically being the title track is a very big step away from the sound that we're usually used to hearing from Infinite. Like I like the way who was it, Nick from the Bias List put it, they had like this second gen maximalist style, like every voice in the chorus layered perfectly, harmonies, like there's just a lot in each song. Whereas this, again, is that more smooth R&B, very minimalist. You're hearing each voice in the section, and it's just this really cool, like I love the bass line. It's like super funky, and I just can't get it out of my head. It's so catchy.
Yeah, you forgot to mention it's also what is it? How many years? 11 years of The Chaser. AKA,
yeah, how could I forget The Chaser?
The best K-pop song of all time. Undisputed.
Undisputed.
Of course. Was it on that 100 best K-pop songs of all time?
Actually, I was going to give Tamar a real hard time about it. I thought it was only on, like, I want to say, like, it was somewhere in the 50s on that list. And Tamar contributed to that Rolling Stone article, and I was going to be like, Tamar, what the hell? Girls' Generation G? Pfft, who knows that song? Like, Girls' Generation? Who are they? No. The Chaser should have been number one on that list.
Well, you set them straight.
Yeah, I'll be sure to tell Rolling Stone. I'm sure they'll be very receptive to me out of all the other many K-pop fans who responded to that article complaining about why their song wasn't number one on the list.
That's the whole point of a list like that, right? To get controversy.
Yeah. Well, I to like take myself out of like character like, for a moment. I actually thought Rolling Stone, that list was actually quite good. Like I think they, like, if I had to rank it, it'd probably be pretty close to how they did it.
Right.
I think they nailed it. Sorry.
Well, no, it's okay. Well, anyway.
Well, that's not fun, Peter.
Yeah, go check
How
out the
dare you
Chaser.
agree with journalists?
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, as a K-pop fan, you're not allowed to agree with like objective earned media journalism.
Yeah, traditional press. What is that?
Yeah, right.
But I think we can all agree that this is the best hit replay of the week, right? Yeah.
No, it's really good.
Yeah, I'll give it to you, PDM. I think you picked the winner.
Thank you, guys. Go support my hag idols. They're struggling.
Hag idols. What are you talking about? They're still babies. Whatever.
That's
Children.
I mean, it's again, they've 13 years in the industry. It's so fun seeing them come back after not promoting together for so long and like learning all the new 4th gen, 5th gen K-pop things. Like, I loved it because what was it? Sungjung went on to Jaejung's, like, Jaejung Needs a Friend show or whatever it's called. And he was like, so before we used to like exchange albums whenever we would greet each other. But that is kind of like taking a step back, and it's more like the dance challenge is now that thing of like, oh, I'm going to go insa or I'm going to go greet this idol. And then instead of just like giving them an album, we're going to do a dance challenge together.
Because that's a critical marketing technique. It's not even just to give respect. It's like you have to do it to stay relevant.
Yeah, and so that's why you see when idols are promoting, like they basically do a tour of like companies, and they'll like go to each company and like not beyond just going to the music show to do those challenges, because it's like part of that new culture.
Yeah, I wonder like if those challenges are even more relevant than the shows that they're on, right? Like, they're all in the building for a show, but what actually gets talked about are the dance challenges done in the hallways, or those infamous steps at
yeah, the steps where they take pictures.
You think they would dress up those steps, right? Like they should really own it. Be like, these are the famous steps that everyone takes their photos at.
But it's more fun, I think, if it's so
mundane.
Yeah.
they're just steps at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Whatever. Okay, so moving on.
Yeah.
Are we good? Okay. All right. So hot issue time. So this is where we just kind of go around sharing what what's on our mind, something that we just need to gush about or share. So Virginia, what's your hot issue? What's piquing your interest in K-pop this week?
All right. Well,
because I know this is what you're really here to talk about.
This is what I'm really here to talk about. The love of my life, the bonus dad to all 5 of my children. BTS's Min Suga. Well, we were expecting it. I actually expected it earlier, but I thought he was going to announce it at the end of his last concert in Seoul. But he has announced that he is like what is it, like officially removing the postponement to military enlistment, so that he'll be enlisting soon, and we're all very sad.
And the world weeps. Another.
I mean, I'm pretty
BTS soldier going,
but a lot of people are upset and sad about it. But my thing is, the sooner he goes, the sooner he can come back, because he has to go for 22 months. So let's get going.
Yeah.
22 months?
Yeah, because he's doing civil service.
Gotcha. Because of his shoulder?
Yeah. And also, I think he wanted to go on tour. So if he didn't go on tour, he would have gone already, right, in March. But since he won't
Right.
go on tour, and he can postpone until December. So
Got it.
I think it's funny, like, even though like BTS as a group, you know, has members going in and I guess soon to come out of the military, like we've still been like really busy. Like it's just there's so much content, so much like solo work. There's just stuff coming out all the time. So it's not like, I don't know, as a group they've ever disappeared. But I guess, I don't know, Virginia, what for as like a Suga bias, like I how does that hit you? I guess you're saying just
I
bring
mean,
it back sooner.
it's you know, I don't know. I feel like personally it's not a big deal to me because obviously they have their own lives and they're not I do not, contrary to popular opinion, my world does not entirely revolve around BTS. Right?
Oh.
Like,
It doesn't. Okay.
I know that's shocking. But, you know, BTS are not here in the trenches with me changing dirty diapers, right? So like, in that sense, it's really kind of removed from me, right? Like I was never going to be Suga's love of his life. Excuse me. You know, so in that sense, it doesn't really affect me at all, right? Like he's always lived his life separate from me because he was born when I was like 15 or 16 years old. So in a totally different country. So yeah, so he's always been like not in my life. But I feel like they've done so much like pre-recording ahead of time, right? Like there really is no lack of content. And that 22 months, I feel like a lot of younger fans might be really sad about it because they've probably never gone through either other bands going through enlistment or just, you know, people living a life. But I'm turning 45, like 22 months is nothing, right? This gives me time to wean the baby and then I can go be my best BTS groupie self when they all go get back together in 2025. So that's the goal.
I have a question for you guys. Like, how do you think that HYBE and BTS's management of just the scheduling of the military enlistment for every member, do you think that that's going to have bigger ramifications for how other K-pop groups and labels manage the military enlistment timeline for their members? Because I remember prior to the announcement for, you know, the first BTS members that were going to serve in the military, I remember talking about this with like another journalist, and he was asking me, he's like, you know, do you think like if I were their management, I would just make them all go into the military at once and then get it over with and they can come right back. And I remember saying at the time, this was a few years ago, I was like, well, you know, other K-pop groups, it's not unusual for the groups to kind of rotate out and kind of draw it out a little bit longer. So you might have groups that release albums and they don't have all the members on that album. Obviously, that's not going to be the case with BTS. So I'm just kind of curious, like, if you guys think this will have a ripple effect in the industry for other groups.
I know that BTS has paved the way in our highly competitive Korean road paving industry, but like they can like write any rules that they want. Honestly, like they're the group who can be the exception as well as like set the norm. So I think you have to get to a certain threshold of like critical mass to kind of pull off what they did here.
Yeah, it's really hard to compare their situation with other groups just because of the scale. Like we all remember when they first announced just a basic hiatus, like not even military service, and the effects that had on the industry.
Yeah, that was like international news.
And out of Korea.
Wild. Yeah. It was.
Yeah, I think they've definitely we have to see. I think it's really hard to tell right now because we're still seeing the the younger groups that are trying to or currently on the trajectory to get to that kind of level. So it's really hard to tell exactly, but especially since they're doing this one member at a time process.
I guess it's just like an overall shorter window, right? So, and I guess what I'm asking myself is like, is that as a fan, that's great because we don't have to wait as long in the grand scheme of things. But also on like a humanistic level, I'm like, man, are they really going to take a break at all? Like to Peter's point earlier, like they've just been releasing so much stuff that it seems to me like they're going to do their military service. And as soon as like they're out, it's like immediately back in the studio as a group and then start promotions again. And for me, I'm like, man, on some level, I'm like, I hope they really do get a chance to take a break.
I mean, it's sort of like, it's money, right?
Of course, corporate greed above all other things, for sure.
Right? So like, I think, I know, I'm sure I have the numbers wrong, but I think BTS is still like 70% of HYBE's profit, right? That's why they're...
Oh, is it really that much? Still.
It's like a huge number, right? Like,
yeah.
It's really lopsided, yeah.
Right, and that's why they've been acquiring so many other industries and companies so that they can insulate themselves, right? And so it's really a question of money. And people have short memories. Like 22 months to me is nothing because that's what 1/22nd of my life, right? But like for maybe the maybe teen market, that's a huge part of their life. That's like 1/8 of their life or something like that, right? Like so. Personally, I think a lot of fans are actually going to drop out of the BTS fandom, and controversial opinion, cannot wait.
Yeah,
like please go toxic up another fandom, and like let me get the tickets easier, right? Like so, but it's people have really short attention spans. Like if you think about who they think is the core market, like how much did your preferences and things change when you were like an adolescent or young adult, right? Like 2 years is a long time. So if they did that, there's that's a lot of money you're like leaving on the table versus if people rotate in and out, like you can extend that.
But isn't that really
still
the case?
Top of mind, right?
Yeah.
But isn't that really only the case because they're making them all go during this like basically 2-year window? Whereas like, because I'm thinking right now, and I'll talk about this later during my hot issue, but like EXO, we've had obviously member change, like a change in the member lineup over the years, and other older groups also have released albums without all of the members, and that's kind of one way to keep the fandom going, And I think it's kind of like BTS. I feel like HYBE cornered them into such a distinct position where it's like it's like all or nothing,
Well, they originally were going to serve like right after PTD, right? In April. That's when Jin was originally going to go. And I think some of them were planning to, but because of like all these different opportunities or whatever, they were going to go on hiatus in 2020, right? And then the pandemic hit. So I think they probably had a lot of original plans that got derailed because of the pandemic, and then because of like Dynamite and Butter, Life Goes On, and whatever all the number one hits or whatever, then it became a momentum thing, right? Like you have to capitalize on this momentum, otherwise you're fumbling the bag. So I don't think it started off that way.
So this is technically like Plan B that we're seeing and put in place right now, not
probably
necessarily
like Plan F, right?
Yeah, that keeps adjusting as the conditions change.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I agree with the sort of like metaphysical point you're making, Virginia, that like metaphysical, I don't know if that's the right word for this, but like, that the market desires whatever's top of mind, and it's fickle. It has a short attention span for the music industry, and especially for this pop, focused genre. You have to keep manufacturing relevance. Okay, Teresa, what is your hot issue?
Yeah, so my hot issue for this week is EXO's Baekhyun, confirming that he launched his own company, and essentially there were some Okay, so for context, I'm not going to go into all of it. I know that you guys already did a whole other episode. So if people don't know what's going on what's been going on in the last few months, Baekhyun, Chen, and Schumann, EXO, aka EXO CBX, had a whole sort of contract issue. So that's covered in a previous episode. The latest in the saga of all that, which we thought was over, was that this week, essentially, there were rumors that came out in Korea. Baekhyun, his personal financials were looked into and leaked to the public. And essentially, he took out almost a $10 million loan for a house. And then people looked into it, and they saw that the landlord for the property has a daughter who's on the board of this company. Sorry, what is the name of the company? I was just looking it up. Big Planet Made. Sorry. Mm-hmm. So when people looked into the details of the loan, I guess it looks like the landlord for that property has a daughter who's on the board of Big Planet Made, which is this is how it all ties together. She is on that board, and that agency or that label is the one that SM accused earlier this year of trying to poach EXO CBX. So then the Korean public, netizens, got really up in arms and were saying like, oh my gosh, like, we were all on the side of EXO, but was this all a manufactured controversy? This really got everybody riled up. And then Baekhyun took to his personal Instagram on August 8th, so just a few days ago prior to this recording. And he went on a very long Instagram live, and he wanted to clarify the rumors regarding everything that was going on online. And he basically, I don't know, I'm a big Baekhyun stan. I love him as an artist. I love EXO. It's one of my alt groups. So take everything I'm saying, obviously, with a grain of salt, if you will, because I am just such a big fan. But to me, I've seen, recordings and translations of the Instagram live. And it really, as a fan, breaks my heart, because you can see how distraught he is during the recording when he's talking about all of this. Because he, one, clarifies that, the whole controversy back with EXO CBX, he said that he was curious about the contract-related matters because of, Lee Soo-man's absence. He was curious about all of that, and he wanted to personally, he said, I got the thought that I wanted to personally check myself, to the parentheses, the financials, during the 2 years, because during the 2 years I was serving in the military, I worked hard on vocal lessons, gave a lot of opinions after my military service ended, on how we can release an album for our fans who waited 2 years. I took personal time off to myself. So what happened then was a bolt from the blue, end quote. So he, was trying to clarify hey, this was a long time coming, me wanting to ask SM for clarification on how much we're earning. And then regarding the rumors about his company, people got curious because the loan for the house was signed under One Signature, which is the name of the company. And that's actually the name of the label that Baekhyun started with Casper, who is the longtime choreographer for EXO. And
hidden member of EXO.
Basically. So all of the iconic dance moves that we associate with EXO can almost all, or very many of them, can be attributed to Casper. So Baekhyun, during the live, he says, hey, actually, this isn't our goal with this label is to train the next generation of dancers, he basically says like, look, I don't have like an inappropriate relationship with like the chairman of this other label. Like he basically said that he considers them family friends. Nothing's kind of shady here, but I don't know. It's been weighing on my mind a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what's nuts to me is that like that they would be, I guess, punished for looking into their own financials.
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on.
Yeah, very retaliatory. Like, how dare you try to explore some independence and autonomy?
Right.
Yeah.
And from the public. That's what pisses me off.
I think the public reaction has been more so to the fact that he started his own company. And then the one other thing that I will say was that this all happened like literally this week. And then like a day later, you know, during the live, Baekhyun says, hey, also when I started this company, like SM knew about it. Or at least he kind of says, not exactly in those words, but he basically says like SM kind of is like supportive of my personal projects, you know?
Yeah.
And then literally the next day, SM releases a statement, you know, to I think it was like a Soompi article where they basically completely contradict that. So like the next day, SM says, quote, our company had never heard anything about this before. And we learned about it through the news. Although we are flustered by the sudden, you know, parentheses, sudden news, we trust that Baekhyun will keep the promises he made during our mutual agreement. And I was like, so now it's just causing, again, more back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what you guys think about this, but I think there's already so much suspicion about SM and the unfair contracts that artists, that K-pop idols have to, you know, deal with for years and years. But I think it's in this era where it's like being an international K-pop fan, there's the language barrier, there's the secrecy surrounding these sorts of contracts. Like we're just so removed from all of these complex matters that it's, at the end of the day, I feel like it does come down to like, okay, well, who do you want to trust? You know? And it's like, as a fan, you're going to go with, you're going to go with your idol group. But then on the other hand, it's like, well, was there something maybe wrong here? You know, like, did he say to an SM executive, like, yeah, I want to start my own business? And they're like, yeah, eventually. Awesome. Great idea. And he ran with it. I don't know.
You know, the way SM is right now, that's probably how it went.
Probably.
That's probably how it was.
And listen, forgiveness is a lot easier to beg for than permission.
Yeah. And honestly, from this whole ordeal this week, from what I've been keeping up with and what I gather, Baekhyun's contract is up in January. Right. And in this live, he also said that he's, you know, his fans asked him, like, why hasn't he released like a solo album? And he basically said, like, y'all need to chill. Like, I really want to focus on this company, you know, and like all the other EXO stuff that we have going on. But then in that, you know, updated statement from SM the following day, they also basically said like, nah, we're actually working on a solo album for Baekhyun later this year. So
dude,
it's just like, let the man breathe. Like he finished his military service, came back, did a whole album, and y'all didn't even like give him the proper, you know, treatment. And then you're basically trying to squeeze out another album before his contract is up in January.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's very reactive, right?
Yes.
Like to, you know, what markets or fans are saying. Like, I wonder what the company is supposed to do in that instance. Like, you know, the word of him saying like he's going to start his own company, like that probably had like pressures on investor relations side, like, oh, you know, you're going to lose.
I also thought about that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, there's like the fan in me who's like, I support Baekhyun and whatever he wants. And like SM is like evil and, you know, all of that stuff. And then there's like the business side of me that's like, I would not put it past, you know, them where this was a situation where he literally, like Michaela said, mentioned it casually. And they're like, yeah, sure, why not? I mean, or there's nothing technically that like prohibits you from doing that. And they were hoping to keep it hush hush for a few more months,
All right.
until he's out of his contract. But then somebody leaked it, or, it got out, however it did. And then the company has to try and scramble and save face, because they also probably don't want to give that idea to a bunch of their other artists.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my theory there is that I think it was probably just miscommunicated internally. Like, oh, I want to do this project. Like maybe, something like, oh, project, sure. And then like, what he really means is I'm going to start a new company. And in that case, someone would be like, hold the phone. Like, we need to evaluate this carefully.
Yeah.
And that's my theory is that, it's just probably miscommunicated internally. And I would be willing to bet more on the artist talent. And I hate to say it, just because like, the way he may have sold it internally was probably not the business venture that it was then interpreted and then reacted to by markets.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been a crazy few months as an XOL.
Yeah, but in a way, I'm almost excited by it, in the sense that when it came out that CBX was trying to leave SM, and then later we had this thing came out of like, actually, they worked everything out. It's cool. We're all cool now. It really felt like this was they had almost lost, in the sense like there was like it really just felt like SM was being this giant corporation sweeping everything under the rug, and we had no transparency of exactly like what made this specific conflict resolve, like what they gave them in return.
Yeah.
And so it's while it's heartbreaking to see again through the lives how the physical toll that this is taking on him, especially as somebody who is sensitive to public controversies with past things that he's done specifically.
Yeah.
Like it's still great to know that they're still fighting for what they want to do and their own autonomy within their own artistry.
Yeah, I agree. I think one of the things also that has made Baekhyun such a star in Korea and such a global K-pop star is the fan relationship that he has. So he's not afraid to jump on a live,
Yeah.
and say, okay, give me your questions. What's on your mind? Let me answer them, question 1, question 2, question 3. And I think that it's going to be interesting in the next few years, now that we're seeing just how big of a shakeup there is at, SM and at all of these companies, really. It's going to be interesting to see how idols navigate that sort of territory where it's like, if you reach a certain stature as a K-pop idol, and you have that kind of fan power behind you, like, I don't know, are we maybe then going to see in the future more artists start saying, hey, F this, and I'm going to do my own thing and I have the fans behind me?
I mean, probably, but also just because you're a good artist doesn't mean you're good at running a company.
Speak on it. Oh my God.
That's a whole thing. Yeah.
That's all. We'll get into that a little bit later.
I thought Rain's doing a great job.
Okay, Peter, moving on. What is your hot issue for this week?
I just wanted to ask Teresa, tap her expertise here. We often hear about brand deals happening with like really high end brands and idols. I guess like case in point, like Dior signed recently with TXT. But I don't know, these things happen like what feels like every week. Why do these high end brands target K-pop idols when like most of the K-pop fandom isn't that demographic of buyer?
Yeah. Why? Well, full disclaimer, I am not in on these individual brand meetings. So I can't speak to, Dior's internal marketing strategy discussions or anything like that. I can only speak to my experience as a reporter and writer and working in newsrooms adjacent with other fashion editors and stylists and what have you. And just people who work in brand partnerships and that kind of thing. My take on this whole thing is the world of celebritydom has really, really changed in the last few years. And I don't think that's not a surprise to anybody. We've talked about people talk about influencers and like nobodies who then amass millions of followers and then they become somebody and then they're able to get brand partnerships. And then you still have Hollywood celebrities, but that's like a shrinking market, or just you have a smaller roster. When it comes to global luxury fashion houses, the buying power for that particular merchandise, that's not the right word. Sorry. When you talk about the buying power, like the people who actually shop at Dior, who buy Loewe, Prada, Valentino, and any type of luxury goods, the market for years has been expanding in Asia. Mm-hmm. So that means that these houses, these fashion houses, are not as interested in American or European celebrities anymore. And influencers for a very, very long time, like, kind of helped bridge that. And to today, they still do that to some extent. But they also come with like their set of controversies that's just a lot harder to handle. Like, how many influencers have we seen that like skyrocket and then fall down just as quickly because they did something really, really dumb, you know? And my thing is, I think that honestly, when we think about K-pop, like they have labels that are carefully monitoring,
maintaining,
their
curating that image. Yeah.
And making sure that they're not going to do something or say something stupid that would then potentially unravel any sort of brand partnership deal, because Dior doesn't want to sign on somebody that's going to be involved in a scandal, because then their name's going to be dragged through the mud, you know?
Right.
So that's my take on it. But yeah, I'm curious, like, what you guys think.
Well, I mean, is there a better ambassador or influencer for that target customer? I guess, like, is this the question? Like, that would be, hold more weight with that buyer, I guess is my question. Or is it that it's not necessarily that, NCT, BTS, and Hypen, Stray Kids, whatever, are necessarily reaching the target buyer, but they just, through brand proximity, just make it cooler?
That's interesting. So I'll give like the example of like my nieces. Like they're, one of them is a huge stay. Her bias is Changbin and Hyunjin, and I can't imagine. I will say right now, like, I don't think she's gonna be like she's gonna be buying anything from Versace anytime soon.
Right.
But I think that these brands right now, I'm trying to give you a succinct answer. To your point, is it a matter of just sheer exposure and numbers? I think to a large degree it is, because I think that these brands haven't quite figured out another way to just get their name out there point blank. So right now,
well, I think that that's a different point. Like that's a different one. But I just want to say, like, that sounds viable. That wasn't what I was suggesting, but I can see that being like a major consideration. What I'm saying is it just to make it cooler, or is there a better influencer that's more directly like holding that transactional buyer relationship with the end customer?
But I would say that, like, sorry, Teresa.
No, please, somebody else chime in.
Any celebrity ambassador, the majority of their fans are not.
So that's just a common thing.
Right? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
a fucking bag is like 5,000, 10,000, 15,000. That's stupid. Sorry,
And so,
really-
and in those instances, is it to make it just cooler, or is it to raise numbers, or is it to?
but it's like free advertising, right? Like, do you
Well,
know
it's
not,
how
not
many?
free.
free.
Yeah.
It's not
Well,
free.
no, like, it's not free, but in the sense of like you're paying for these fans to watch your ads. Like, do you know how many times I have I've watched entire Samsung infomercials because Suga was asking questions about some stupid phone, right? Like, I have watched that CK ad of Jungkook shirtless just so I can see him shirtless, like 20 times. I haven't thought about CK since CK1, right? Like when I
Yeah.
was in college, you know, like you are getting eyes on those views. You are getting word of mouth. You're getting people talking about you, right? Like that's what you're paying for, whether it's a K-pop or a celebrity or whatever. Like you're counting on that fan base of people to be interested in, to look at your stuff. And then whether they can afford it now or not, you know, it stays in your mind. And maybe one day, if they were going to be spending that type of money in the future, they'll remember that, right?
I wonder, Peter, I feel like what you're kind of getting at is that maybe it seems like there's some misalignment in terms of the designers, like the fashion houses, and who they're signing on specifically. Is that what you're kind of getting at? Like, does it make sense to have NCT's Taeyong on Loewe?
Well, I mean, I put it forward from a genuine question. Like, it would seem that way, but there's it seems that way on the surface, but my assumption is that there probably is a very strategic calculation happening under the hood, and I'm just trying to poke at and understand. Well, what is that strategic move that's being made? Like, what is that framework that they're using?
Yeah,
and I think you're providing some clues to that end, Teresa. Like you were explaining, like, well, you know, it sounds like they're actually, at least in Asian markets, they do hold buying sway over that market and that customer segment.
and I think it is, you know, to the some of these things are quantifiable and some of them are not. You know, the cool factor is not quantifiable. Like whatever celebrity is cool today and whatever celebrity is cool, you know, 5 years from now is going to be different. And brands, in terms of just sheer name recognition, like that is an end goal, even if they can't maybe quantify it necessarily. So Prada enlisting, you know, and Hypen, to me, seems a little bit misaligned. Like it doesn't, like I just think that their fan base is way too young, you know? And I don't really see how. I'll give you another example. So Ralph Lauren signed Kim Woo-bin as a brand ambassador. I saw that and I was like, oh, that makes sense. That man can wear a suit. like he just, like, it just makes sense, you know? And ideally you want a brand partnership and a brand ambassador like that. For Prada and Hypen, as much as I love Prada and as much as I love Hypen, it didn't really make a lot of sense in my head. But there is like the trickle down effect eventually, which again is a little bit harder to quantify. But it's like, maybe my teenage, you know, niece isn't going to buy Prada ready to wear, but she will buy a Prada bag. And
or maybe when she gets older,
or yeah, when
know.
she gets a little bit older, or that's the thing that she'll want to save toward. And that literally just comes down to name recognition and what is deemed cool.
And also, doesn't that presume that, like, there aren't rich children? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, of course.
I'm sure Chaebol's kids like
Yeah.
K-pop, you know what I mean? Or like the really super rich, like, Chinese conglomerate kid or whatever, you know? Like,
And I'm not going to lie, on another little, like, this is just a thing that I'm like, as a fan, these people are just ridiculously good looking.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
you
I don't know anything about
people
fashion.
that look good in your
but
clothes.
pretty people looking pretty, holding
K-pop
pretty
idols
things.
look great.
Yeah,
They're beautiful.
that makes sense.
Their
Even if I don't know
skincare,
who they are.
the regimen, they're ready to talk about it, or at least they have some great estheticians with the label who'll take care of their skin,
Mhm.
And I'm sorry, some other American, celebrity here, might not have that.
Yeah.
I've also heard though that the reason why they do want like K-pop stars or Korean stars or Asian stars in general is because, especially men, is because if they have non-Asian men, usually they don't wear as many accessories and they don't have bags. They don't use bags or purses. But if you use an Asian pop star, then they do use these things. So you get more mileage out of their representation.
More accessories, more upsells. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think the K-pop industry as a business, is designed to have pretty looking people so that you can have brand deals. So I could see this, you've got a qualified ambassador segment there and pull to draw from.
Yeah.
Yeah, because for a lot of these groups, it's not about selling music as it is just capitalizing on influence, monetizing influence.
Blackpink.
Also,
They had 9 songs for a number of years. 9, Virginia, which is more than 5. So
Yeah, in a sense, New Jeans has kind of taken that mantle. It's like the new generation of like girls that have a few songs, but all the brands.
yeah.
Take that Coke money. Not the drug, the soda.
but New Jeans, they're coming out with a lot of songs, more than Blackpink.
Oh.
Okay, Mikhail, what's your hot issue?
Yeah, quickly wrapping up this segment. I just want to give a shout out to Lightsticks, guys, because one of the things that I love about K-pop fandoms is our Lightsticks. Even though they're incredibly expensive, only useful for one thing unless you're really creative, like they make a show like 10 times more enjoyable as like an audience member.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying this because I recently went to a Big Time Rush concert in Fresno, and I saw, I don't know, it was just, there's something missing from pop boy band performances when you don't have light sticks or any kind of like light thing in the crowd.
Oh,
So light sticks are great, guys.
they are.
Yeah, they're what I really appreciate about just K-pop as fandom. Like I'm trying to encourage people who go to these like K-pop DJ nights, like bring your light stick, And I definitely see a few people bringing their light sticks to those. Not everyone. I don't think it's caught on like you would for a concert, but I don't know. I'm just trying to encourage people to do it more, just because like it is more fun. It makes it more interactive.
I saw like a Twice and a Army Bomb at the B-Time Rush concert.
Did you?
There was a few lights in the crowd. But
Awesome.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I actually was thinking about Lightstick specifically in relation to KCON, because I was looking at the lineup, and just the lineup itself for KCON LA this year is really, really interesting. And I'm really, really excited for it. But I remember literally just looking at it and then being like, what Lightstick am I bringing for each night? Well, I don't want to be carrying a whole bunch of stuff. But I was like, okay, wait. So day one, is it going to be, okay, wait, is it going to be wavy? No. Okay. Shiny? No. Wait, I don't want to carry both. And I literally was having this internal monologue in my head. So light sticks are great, but sometimes they can pose conundrums.
the multi-fandom struggles.
Yes.
It's too bad like they're not interchangeable parts where you could like unscrew the top or something.
Oh, they should do that. They
Right?
should, especially if they're under the same label, like ways to bring it together. you know how in Power Rangers you could like have like, okay, someone's the legs, someone's the arms.
What?
And you like did it together, and then you had like the Megazord, right, or whatever it's called. Like they had to have like a K-pop equivalent of that. Like, oh, well, if you buy this light stick over here, these light sticks over here, and then you can connect them together. Then you can have like ultimate light stick, which blinds everyone around you or something. I don't know.
That makes sense functionally, but
Right? And environmentally.
yeah.
I like the
How am I going to
Dreamcatcher.
fit together this radish and this demon cane? Like, how is that going to work?
Yeah.
Really quickly,
'Cause-
what is everybody's favorite light stick design?
Probably
I heard
Cherboy.
if you sing
The gun.
Dreamcatcher lyrics backwards and you wave the wand in a circular motion, it starts opening an interdimensional portal to hell. So I think that one's my favorite.
Right.
No. On a serious note, I think the Twice light stick design and aesthetic is really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one's really good.
I don't know. They can get pretty creative, and the same group can reimagine their same light stick over time. I was just gonna say, shout out to Sarangho, the local K-pop store in the Bay Area. They do this thing where they post like most sold merchandise, so you can kind of see like what's trending, what's hot. And something I monitor as a DJ sometimes to see like, okay, what are popular songs in my area. And often you can see that light sticks are usually at the top of the list, and it's usually like a Twice light stick or something that are like most popular sellers.
Nice.
Like when you look at the spectrum of like K-pop associated merchandise, like light sticks are like at the top of the list because I don't know, you're willing to spend a bit more, I guess, as
Right.
a fan for those.
Upwards of $65 to $70.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's my Hallie thing. Light sticks are great.
Okay.
Yes, they are.
Time to get into lightning round. So Daebak or not, this is where we'll say a thing, and then we'll each go around saying whether we're Daebak or not on that item. However we want to interpret that news item. So this, Kayla, do you want to kick us off on the first one? Or
Yeah, so our first Daebak or not lightning round section is BTS guys, has debuted or is making his debut as a solo artist, and he's dropped 2 new music videos before as a pre-release to his debut album Layover. So let's start with the first one. Are we Daebak or not on V's Love Me Again?
No.
You wanna go into that, Virginia?
No.
Got it. Teresa, are you?
Can you skip me?
Okay, we'll come
decline
back.
the
Peter.
comment.
Decline to comment. No comment.
I haven't really listened to these. I'm just like skimming through it right now.
It's terrible.
They seem fairly forgettable. Unfortunately, is my first pass on them. They're not 7. 7 is like number 1 right now, like most requested like song, right? As a DJ.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the song that you'll dance to, right? And it's also like really provocative and just fun.
Like, if you're going to be mediocre, it should be fun and catchy.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I said that quiet part out loud.
No, I think I'll be out here. I'll say it's a not for me as well. Like, it's not, to be honest. It's what I've expected from him. Like, he's our old man jazzy dude. Like, I wasn't expecting him to come out with like the song of the summer, to be honest. So it's good for what like I've expected of him, but a not as far as like the first thing of his solo release.
Yeah, I think we're reaching that point now where maybe some of the popularity has waned a little bit in like the rabid fervor of like whatever it is, I'll eat it, I'll buy it up. Because like this, at least as I hear it on a very superficial listen now, it seems like low effort IMV. So therefore, like, I'm here, you're going to buy it, right, guys? And it's like, well, I'm not gonna put out for this. You know, unlike other animes who have put out some really, you know, I don't know, catchy stuff. Like if I'm gonna get like jazzy, I want real jazz.
Not lo-fi derivative.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're a not, Peter?
Oh yeah, not. So 3 knots
and then
and
Teresa,
one no
are you
comment.
still declined to comment?
No
or-
comment. I'm not gonna put her under the bus of that fandom. So
Got it.
okay. So
moving on, are we debug or not on rainy days, just to wrap up this V segment?
Oh no, not.
Still
So-
not, Peter?
I thought we were not on both of these, but whatever. Yeah.
Oh, both of them? Okay.
The video is debug,
Yeah.
but the I mean, no.
I like Rainy Days more as a song though.
Yeah,
Oh, true.
I'm
Yes.
actually Daebak on this one. Like this song, I immediately added it to my sad crying in my pillow K-pop playlist.
But there's so many better cries in my pillow.
Okay, let's move along, guys. Let's keep moving here. All right, next item. Apologize to Lisa. You guys know this one?
Yeah, it's going off on Twitter.
Okay, should I explain it or are we good?
Could you quickly explain it, please?
Okay, so basically, Lisa put out this glorious photo where we can see her forehead. Where you know, I'm just sorry, that's a meta joke. Anyway, there's Lisa's enjoying herself in Greece, and you know, people have speculated that maybe she's dating someone. Anyway, that aside, a New Jeans fan account on the formerly popular platform known as X. A fan account said, she looks terrible, poop emoji, poop emoji, poop emoji, vomit emoji, vomit emoji, vomit emoji, middle finger emoji, bottom emoji, middle finger emoji. You get the idea, right?
Yeah.
So, anyway, they said that, and it was the catalyst for a new fan war. And so, you know, Blinks and what are New Jean fans called? Bunnies, I guess. I don't know.
bunnies.
Anyway, I think a lot of people were saying like, what the hell? Like, you know, delete your account. And they did, but they actually did delete their account. The fandom did delete its account. Their first response was, oh, someone hacked our account to say that, which doesn't seem viable to me, because if you hack an account, is that really what you're gonna post when you're hacking someone's account?
I know, it's like
Anyway.
if somebody from so it's very seems very intentional.
Yeah. So it became like a trending news cycle for a little bit across like national news broadcast publication or broadcasters for a while.
Seriously?
Yeah, people were talking about it. Like, why is Apologize to Lisa trending? And reporters started talking about it. You know,
So what is this debug or not part that we're...
so you can say you're Daebak or not on this thing, however you want to interpret it.
Well, I'm not, I guess.
So I'm not Tebak on people, you know, hating on
Yeah.
Lisa, and I'm very Tebak on Lisa living her best life. Like, let the girl live. Like, if she wants to be, you know, living her best life in Europe, whatever the rumors may be surrounding her being in Europe, like, I feel like she's already just been through so much. Like, I'm here for all the photos of her looking really, really happy, because I want that for her.
Yeah, like, I don't... Anyway.
You know what? I'm gonna change it. I'm Daebak on this. Now I know who to block. Like, I'm happy you're saying the quiet part out loud. Now I know I don't need you in my feed. Thank you.
Well, they're not on the internet anymore anyway. So yeah, I think the hate was insurmountable. Anyway, next item. Robbie, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, moving on. So this is kind of a little bit update from our last episode from last week, where we talked about DP in the latest episode of the K-Drama Cast. So you guys should go check it out. But we talked a bit about Ravi and Nafla specifically because they had been charged for They were about to be charged for evading military service, and so we finally got the Southern District Court Criminal Division 7 sentenced Ravi to 2 years of probation and Nafla to 1 year of prison. But Ravi is able to serve that first year as probation as long as, he doesn't do any more crimes. So it's just a bit of an update to this continued saga of again, military service and what happens to people who are trying to avoid it because it's illegal and you're seen as a lesser person because you don't want to go serve in the military.
Okay. I guess I'm Daebak for justice. Being served.
Okay, I can fuck with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll say the same.
All right.
I already went into this on the DP. I'm a not on this, but mostly just for the fact that I don't think this should be illegal in the first place.
I think if it was like an American thing, I'd say not Tebak, but being here, I feel like a certain type of way about trying to judge whatever the cultural norm is.
True.
In South Korea.
Yeah, we go all into it in our DP episode, guys. So go check that out.
All right.
Yeah.
Are you guys Daebak or not? On Red Velvet's 9th anniversary.
This is a selfish ad, guys. This is just for me. Obviously, this is a Daebak. This is the best thing to happen to me this year. Our girls, 9 years in the game, still going strong, healthy, beautiful. Love it.
Yay!
They do look so good. Like all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm Daebak for them, keeping it going.
Yeah.
100% Daebak.
For sure.
Yes, love it.
I still get requests for their slow ballady stuff at DJ gigs. I'm like, what? Are you reading the room right now? I'm playing Daewoo Cha, Auguste, or Stray Kids God's Menu, and then someone would be like, hey, can you play Queendom from Red Velvet? I'm like, really?
Hey,
if there's
you
one
need
thing
that
about
velvet in your life, Peter.
I think if there's one thing about Red Velvet, I feel like it's their fan base is just consistent,
Yeah. Love it. Love all of my Rebel loves rejoiced in this 9 years. For 9 more. Okay, moving on. So DKZ's Kyungyoon is leaving the group. This is notably after there was controversy that came up with his family having ties to a specific cult called JMS. Very, very popular, notorious cult in Korea. There's a whole Netflix documentary about them. So are we Daebak or not on this?
I'm Daebak and him leaving, I guess. I mean, cults are messed up.
But that's not his fault.
Well,
I'm sorry. I'm misreading this item. I'm sorry. No, this is totally wrong. I'm sorry.
he left the cult when he was younger. His family left
I
it.
read this in the opposite direction. I'm sorry. I don't know. This is dark place all around. I guess it's not. No. Yeah, not for me.
Yeah, I'm Tebak on him just honestly stepping away from all of this because I remember following the controversy. I wasn't familiar with the group or him as an artist at all. But when this controversy, especially with the documentary, came out, I was reading about it and it's just you could see how draining it was and how much of an impact it was having on him emotionally. So if in whatever shape, if in whatever way, shape or form, he is able to step back from all of that and just close that chapter of his life, I'm for that. So Tebak on that.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same place with you. Although it's such a shame that this had to happen to him, especially as DKZ are in the come up. It's sad to see him not be able to fill that part of his career. But again, hoping for him to have a healthier future.
Yeah, I never know how to answer these things. Obviously, whatever is better for him as a person is the best. So
okay.
I don't know.
Just move on. Next item here.
Yes.
No more boy groups for you. Rain Company share that 4 members of Cypher will conclude their activities with the group. And the remaining 3 members will continue their individual activities.
We started like a change.org position for Rain to stop making boy groups because he has a great track record of like, I don't know. I'm so conflicted by this, to be honest. Like I want to say Daebak because yes, get away from Rain as far as you can and go live your lives and like start your
I
careers.
like Rain as a performer, as an entertainer, not as a business leader.
Mm-hmm. But I'm also, I don't know, I guess I am not on the sense that it's like, Rain, why do you keep doing this to these boys? Like giving them this opportunity and like crushing their dreams by failing them every time. You're not JYP. You'll never be JYP. Okay, I'm done.
I love JYP.
I really like your call for like a petition to Rain, Michaela. Like, I feel like if we want to be really mean about it, we need to do it in like a heartfelt way. Like, Rain, we know you need help. Like, you know, there's counseling. Like I don't know.
Because like, what is it? It's what it is. He wants to be JYP. And like the thing that completes his like JYP-ness is creating a company and having like idol groups.
Yeah, Jay Park is also trying to be JYP.
Right?
Oh.
Or Psy Opa, right? Psy, everyone's trying to
Well,
be Psy
Psy
now.
also has, you know, artist retention issues.
Yeah. Yeah, Psy also a very good performer. But I don't know.
I mean, I don't think his artists are leaving out of bad blood. They just don't like. They're still friends. I think they just don't like the style, right?
Yeah. It sounds like, from what I've heard from like interviews and Jesse talking about it sounds like Psy works with people pretty hard.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so Rain, Cypher, what are we saying here? PDM, Daebak or not?
Like I said, I'm Daebak. Get
Daebak.
away.
Oh, Daebak,
Go.
okay.
Be free.
Okay.
I defer to the wisdom of the crowd.
Yeah, I'm with Michaela on this one.
Daebak. Yeah, I guess that's Daebak is a good way to look at it, I guess. Yeah. Break free. And everyone else take note. Like, stay clear of Rain.
Well, I mean, there's 3 members that are still there. Assumedly, they plan to, like, I guess maybe reorganize and maybe re-debut as, like, the new version of Cypher. I wish them the best.
I just
Okay.
wish for better spelling.
Oh. Yeah. Are they a K-pop group, Virginia? Like, unless there's provocative spelling
guess not.
of names and sounds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Speaking of, our next Daebak or not, new boy group from Jellyfish Entertainment changes their name. They are currently named Even, changed from the original debut name of BLIT. This is going to be a 7-member boy group. Even stands for, I believe, what was it? Evening Newest Atolls. So are we Daebak or not on this name change from?
I had no idea that's how you pronounced it.
No, I like the original name. The original name was exciting.
BLIT?
I like BLIT.
How do you pronounce this? The new name?
Even.
Even.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's missing a few vowels there.
What?
Yeah, it's spelled EVNNE.
I think they're both terrible. Honestly, I'm like,
You're gonna
not
knock BLIT? No, BLIT is awesome.
No, they're stop. I'm not Daebak on just these companies giving the most terrible of names to all of these groups, especially when they're, I feel like we've just had a slew of really bad names in the last like 2 years, and I hate, like, I don't know, use chat GPTs to help you come up with some new names or something. I don't know.
No, but you see, we've gotten so saturated now, we're getting into the echo chamber for these large language models that they're like, oh, if you were to go to chat GPT right now and ask for a K-pop name, it would give you something like this because all the other K-pop names are like this.
Okay, so I'm type on like ask the fans to like. I feel like fans are really good at naming stuff, and I feel like the agencies should give some more opportunity for the fans to like. If you're already voting on who's going to be in the group, like vote on the group name.
Mm-hmm. And that's what they did originally. They did that with VIX. That's how we get values, visuals in Excelsius.
Just like random adjectives.
The fans voted on that name. They picked it.
I could live with VIX. Even I don't know.
VIX actually sounds good.
Yeah, it's easy to say also.
But blat, splat, blot?
Blot?
Yeah, I'm Daebak on even, to be honest. Like I can't have anything that has BLIT on it. I just can't.
No, I could. BLIT is awesome. I don't know why you.
From an English speaking perspective, no, thank you.
No, from an English speaking perspective, I think it's great.
I feel like BLIT is at least more interesting than even.
Yeah.
I'm certainly laughing a lot.
Well, hey, you know, it's something they can grow into, you know. They laughed at Bulletproof Boy Scouts and look where they are now.
Right. Yes.
I was trying to think about like some sort of like witty contrived joke around Boys Planet discovering finding BLIT, but anyway, so okay, let's move on here. So like they found it, they made it.
Oh my god.
Done. Moving on. Next.
Could that be the header for the
Like they found it.
Oh, there's actual tears leaking out of my eyes.
See, this is what I'm saying, guys. BLIT is such a good name.
Okay, moving on. No. Moving on.
I am
Done.
Daebak on BLIT.
Okay. Next Daebak or not. The Scout Jamboree in Korea closes with K-pop after basically it was the Fire Festival of Scout Jamborees.
My friends are there.
Oh, really?
My friend and her 2 kids are there, and I've already called dibs on her BTS photo cards.
Yeah, so notably this K-pop concert is kind of like the Korean government tried to make the best out of a very, very, very horrible situation that involved like tens of thousands of people stranded in a heat wave, being eaten alive by bugs with no water and food. But hey, K-pop to the rescue! So they had this emergency concert in the Seoul Olympic Stadium with a bunch of different artists, and they even tried to get BTS to perform at it. But obviously they're currently on hiatus, so that didn't happen.
Wow,
So,
how did they get to that place? Just corruption or something, or what?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's that. So are we Daebak or not on Korean soft power, guys?
Not, I guess.
Yeah, K-pop isn't gonna save you when like, you know, like Russia is invading or something. Like it, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I guess I'm not.
Yeah, I'm not Daebak.
Yeah, not.
Okay, Fair Trade
So
Commission.
the FTC of Korea is investigating HYBE, SM Entertainment, JYP Entertainment, YG Entertainment over potential subcontracting law violations. So basically abuse of power of these 5 major companies in Korea.
I mean, I'm Daebak for them being investigated because according to this thing that you linked to here, it looks like the company is also part of the violation is that they've been operating using verbal contracts, and just like the history that we
That's
already
not
have
good.
with contracts already, like, nah, like get that ish in writing and clarify stuff and
Always.
get your ducks in a row.
Always. Yeah. Like even in good faith, you still want to get things in writing. Like not that you're trying to abuse the other person, but like, you know, it just helps to for your own sake, like what is it? Like, even if you're just trying to recollect, what were the terms? What did we agree on?
Yeah.
You know, what flexibility do I have to change? And then that way, like, you can be a lot more indifferent and like impartial to like what you want to do next on business matters.
Yeah. So I'm Tebok for more fair labor practices.
Yeah. Also
Yes.
Daebak. Because especially in K-pop, when we have, fan identity generally revolving around these companies, and it's like, oh, it's YG Family, or we're in part of the SM Town. Just a reminder that capitalism runs everything, and these are just corporations trying to do what they can for as little as they can.
But corporations are people.
Are you the spokesperson for the Supreme Court?
That was sarcasm, folks. I
Yeah.
I don't think that.
Yeah, I guess I'm Daebak as well, around fair labor reform, subcontracting changes. Yeah. Okay, last item. TXT feeling like they didn't deserve to perform at Lollapalooza.
I guess that's not Daebak. I don't want people to feel bad about being them like successful. Like, imposter syndrome is not a fun place to be. And they sold out, right? Like, they did a really good job. So,
Well, of course they sold out. Yeah.
so ergo, they deserve to be headliners.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they're turning people out, and that's really what matters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the end of the
Yeah,
day.
Daebak on this, not Daebak on on the imposter syndrome. Like, I hope they realize like how far they come, and that they deserve to be where they are now, which is, yeah.
Not Tebok on Yeonjun saying this and feeling really, really insecure about their performance. And definitely not Tebok on the fact that it seems like this is all wrapped up in the larger conversation of like K-pop at these music festivals, and like, does it quote unquote belong there? I feel like that's the
Of course it
subtext for all
belongs.
of this. And I'm super not Tebok on all of that, because I think it's BS.
Yeah, I am like really pro seeing K-pop at these like mainstream festivals and stuff. Like, it's weird. Like, I'll see like advertisements for aespa and stuff at like, in spaces where I'm not used to seeing them. But it's hard to measure the commercial power, popularity of, or influence of like one music genre versus another. But if we're being really hand wavy about it, I think we could probably say like K-pop has become something that everyone has heard or at least knows about. Like, whenever I tell my coworkers like, oh yeah, I'm really into like Korean idol pop, they're like, oh, you mean K-pop? It's like, they've heard of it. Like, they know what that thing is.
I agree
So
with
why
that.
not? Like, why shouldn't we have K-pop entering into these more mainstream places, because they're already part of the popular discourse?
Yeah, I'm gonna pull one and say I'm actually not about this, because now that I'm thinking about it, like, this idea of them feeling like they don't deserve to be playing these giant shows and selling out these concerts, it feels like the negative effect of when a big hit, and I guess HYBE now was trying to humble them early on, like, especially trying to remake, I guess, the magic of BTS by like giving them almost the same thing. Like, when they did their first tour, they specifically booked smaller venues than what they could have sold, because they, it was their first tour. Like, I don't know. I makes me feel like that there's like some connection to that.
Like,
I have a lot of thoughts
company
on
is
that,
making
and
them feel like that.
maybe that's a conversation for another day, specifically on TXT and how many their ticket sales and the venues that HYBE has put them on. What I will say is that I wonder if there's also that. I wonder if Yeonjun is also making these comments from the perspective, obviously, as a younger Korean K-pop idol. Who is obviously coming from a culture where you pay respect to groups that are an artist who are much, much older than you. And at the end of the day, Yeonjun is 22, 23. And I'm sure for him to, he looks at like headliner and he's like, oh, it has to be like somebody who's been in the game longer. So I wonder if, just to contextualize his comments, there's that perspective to consider.
Yeah, I think that's definitely, I agree with you, Teresa. I'm sure that's a major part of it. Like just that whole cultural norm, especially in Korea, of paying respect to your elders. You're the ones who paved the way before you. Even if commercially you may be the hottest thing. I almost feel like this is an element of like PR training, like, oh, you've got to be humble. This is them being like too humble.
Mm-hmm.
But like, in the grand scheme of things that you can get in trouble for saying publicly, like this is, not even an issue, but still they got us to talk about it.
They performed at Lollapalooza. Like,
yeah,
they're still in a great position.
Yeah, they performed at Lollapalooza. They got some press coverage around it. We're talking about it, and we're talking about it in a nice place on TXT's behalf, right? Mm-hmm. So for that, I guess it did its PR job. Okay, well, that's it for this long episode of the Kpopcast. Thanks for joining us, Teresa and Virginia. Where can people follow you online? Or what book are you trying to sell? Or like, what movie are you starring in? Or what tour are you going on? Or what new business venture did you start? Like, what thing do you want to advertise?
Go ahead, Teresa.
Well, thanks for having me on the show. It was a lot of fun recording this. And you guys can keep up with me. You can keep up with me on Instagram at IKPTpod. That's the Instagram handle for the It's a K-Pop Thing podcast. Again, that's IKPTPOD pod. I manage our socials there. And you can catch me there asking random stuff about K-pop.
Your social media game is like really top notch on It's a K-Pop Thing.
Oh, thank you.
You really go all out.
Right. We could never.
You know what? It's because like I am not a graphic designer at all, but I have a lot of fun like playing around on Canva. So it's like I enjoy it. I'm not like the best at it and I'm not very fast at it, but it's a fun thing for me to do and to kind of figure out like, does this work? Does it not work? You know?
Well, it's better than me sometimes where it's like graphic design is my passion and Comic Sans. Like, Microsoft clip art.
Yeah.
So
you're reminding me I have to create some more social assets for our latest episode. So this is, I guess, my plug, but in our latest episode, Alexis and I give a bunch of song recommendations on the best K-pop and Western song collabs. It's not an exhaustive list, but we took some inspiration from TXT. And their collaboration with the Jonas Brothers. So if you're interested in that, you can check it out on the It's a K-Pop Thing podcast.
Jonas Brothers, didn't they like open for like Wonder Girls?
Wonder Girls opened, I think, for them on their tour, which Alexis clarified on the episode.
Yeah, I was kidding. But yeah. Okay, Virginia, what's your thing?
I'm Virginia. Thanks again for having me. And you can follow me on pretty much all the socials at The Mandarin Mama. And my latest production is 6 months old, and she's learning how to crawl.
Yeah, when my two kids were born, I wrote a press release for each of them in the style of like a K-pop debut. So those are my productions. Yeah, my wife's like, you didn't contribute anything
recently
to this.
Debuted in
like,
kindergarten, right?
Oh yeah, breaking into kindergarten. Yep. Yeah, baby CXL. Yeah. So, okay, that's it. You can follow all of us. Oh, PDM, where can people follow you?
Oh, I guess I'm at Michaela J K-pop on X, and you can tweet all of us at the Kpopcast on all the things.
Yeah, or Instagram at the Kpopcast. I'm on the grams now at DJ Peter Lowe. I'm not really trying to be on X anymore. Okay.
Got it. All right, bye everybody.
Bye guys.